Nazareth Village is an open-air museum depicting the life as it was 2,000 years ago. My name is Sandro. I'll be your tour guide. In Nazareth Village, you'll see a synagogue, you'll see a wine press, you'll see a quarry, you'll see some houses, and you'll see much more. We've added also these villagers you see in the pictures, and this will bring everything to life, and you will see how people talked and worked and played together and worshiped together. All right, this way, please. Last person, if you will, close the door. Thank you. Okay, kind of step that way just a little bit back, and then we can go around the room. Just a few steps if you don't mind.
It's not all day.
Sorry?
Not all day today.
It's okay, don't worry. Just.
All right, is that everyone? All right, so two main events happened in Nazareth in the life of Christ here. First, it's the annunciation of the angel Gabriel to Mary about the upcoming birth of Christ. The second one is when Jesus walked into a synagogue and inaugurated his ministry. Now, when we started setting up this village, we didn't know what we were going to run into. We ran into some really cool things, and when we found those findings, we done multiple research. You can see from the pictures here and there to make sure of the accuracy of the findings and the authenticity of it. Now, many people come to the Holy Land hoping to see something come to life, but they get somewhat disappointed because all they see is these dead stones and dusty ruins. However, what we try to do here is bring it all to life by creating something what looks like a village. We can see how people talked and worshiped and played together, and more importantly, how did Christ build on this context to create his parables and communicate with people. Now, this is just a perception of where we are right now in Nazareth. This is the old city here. This is the farmland we will be touring. This is the building we're currently inside. And this is the Scottish hospital that owns the land. So this was set up in 1861. So this land has been vacant for about 150 years before we started doing the digging. And as we were digging, we started finding, the first thing we found is a 1st century original wine press. The wine press was dated in Roman times. Okay, and then we started finding, while we were digging, we've started finding shards pertaining to Roman times that authenticated our findings and confirmed the accuracy of our findings. We also found remains of terraces. Terraces are a system of farming when it's done on a mountainous region. So when you want to do farms, you want to set up farms, you have to have flat land. On a mountainous region, you don't have flat land, so we have to build these huge steps in the mountain. So inside, this is a dissection of what a terrace from the inside looks like. You can find this chalky white layer, which acts as a sealant. It is impermeable, so it doesn't allow rainwater to go in. Rainwater will stop at the white place, at the white chalky layer, and then overflow through the stones, irrigating the next plane and the following plane and so forth. So it acts as a self-irrigation system. All right, we're going to go through this door. This door is dated at least 100 years old. This was made for security purposes. You'll have a small door and a large door. The small door would prevent from soldiers to walk in or barge in a house on horseback. They would usually break the door down with a horse and then terrorize the family. In this way, they can't do it. They have to get off the horse, duck, and go in. Inside, they'll find one of the family members ready with a baseball bat or a club to knock them down. The large door is used for cargo. So you will get a camel in here, and usually there's a courtyard. The courtyard, they will, inside please. In the courtyard, they will unload the camel, and they'll see if they received anything from FedEx or UPS, and then after that, they will transfer it to the rooms of the house. All right, last person to please close the door, if you will. Okay, everyone who has earpieces, please raise your hand. All of you who have earpieces, raise your hand. I just want to see how many. Is everyone raising their hand who have earpieces? Okay, great. All right. So, let me see. Okay, so Nazareth as a first century village was about 400, 500 people. So give or take 150 families. Today, it's a colorful, thriving city of about 80,000 people. As you've seen walking in, you'll see some of these structures that are familiar, like the Annunciation Church, the old marketplace. Now, Nazareth was established about 150 years before Christ by a group of Judeans revolting against the Greeks for religious freedom. They were usually from the city of Bethlehem or Judea in general, and it was during the Maccabean revolt. When they came to the north, they established this small village to stay in, and they called it Nazareth, and we'll see why out there. Now, this also explains why Mary and Joseph had to come back down to Bethlehem to register their kid. Now, if you zoom out of this map, I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of commotion. Guys, be mindful of other tourists, please. Okay? So, we have, if you zoom out of this land, of this map, you will see how small this piece of land is. However, it's been proven to be very important, and throughout the centuries it exchanged hands multiple times. You see from the Roman, the Byzantine, the Islamic, and so forth. Why is that? Well, because this piece of land is very important because whoever controls it controls a strategic place of the world called Via Maris. Via Maris is the way of the sea. It connected Egypt and Mesopotamia. Today it connects Africa with Europe and Asia. Here we can see some of the pictures or the paintings done by pilgrims during the Ottoman Empire. This will give you and show you how Nazareth was nestled between these mountains, and you'll see how small it was and peaceful it was. However, it's been proven not to be as peaceful because of the certain things we just mentioned. Now, Nazareth is built on a series. Nazareth is built on a series of mountains. In order to go up and down the mountainous region, you need to build structures and farms. You have to use, well, they had to think of something to go up. They had to think of something to use to go up and down these mountains. And what we thought of is basically the donkey. The donkey is an animal that knows the best way to go up and down mountains with ease, usually using a zigzag structure or a zigzag method rather than straight up or straight down. So it's safe to say that the donkey is our first civil engineer. But now these paths that you see today, or not paths, these streets, the main streets that you see of Nazareth is built on old donkey paths. All right, so we're going to go through this room, if you don't mind. All right, this way, please. All right, last person, please close the door if you will. Thank you. Okay, so this room is dark for a reason. This is the Roman times. Roman times were a very harsh, very cruel period of time for the Holy Land and Nazareth. Okay? Sorry. Now, Herod the Great was the epitome of this cruelty. You remember when he sent out for all male babies under the age of 2 to be murdered because he was fearing, his throne, basically, hearing of a new king being born. He later then killed his 3 sons and wife.